Hi, welcome. It's a big edition of the Counter Press on YouTube on the channel of Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Once again, like you always do, I want to say thank you to everybody that has chosen Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you to everybody that has been a huge supporter. And then everybody that has subscribed, that has liked, that has liked, that has shared. This growth is for you, and I want to say thank you to you. But there is new news, a lot of the updates on the transfer market, and as the transfer market is getting closer to the deadline, there are going to be a lot of updates, and we'll be here to give you the best in terms of the updates. And that's exactly why you need to turn on your notification bell. That's exactly why you need to turn it on, so that just when the updates come in, you can have it. Also on the side, you need to make sure that you subscribe and you do also like and share. I am so very much interested in your opinions, so please do also comment. Tell me what you think is wrong. Tell me what you think you need to tweak. Tell me your opinions, and trust me, I'll do all to reply them. And then of course in the next videos we'll talk about them. But let's go straight into it. And it's a big update. And first of all, it's from the camp of Moises Caicedo and Chelsea. So I said yesterday that Chelsea wants to get the replacements, the second the options in terms of midfield area before even they get Moises Caicedo. Moises Caicedo will be done. It will be done. Chelsea will get Moises Caicedo done, whether for 100 million, 100 and whatever million, less than 100 million. That's not a problem. Chelsea needs Moises Caicedo. In fact, Mauricio Pochettino has made it very clear to Wayne Stanley and Stewart that they need to deliver on projects Moises Caicedo. And that is why Chelsea have told the players camp. I told you yesterday that he needs to show some commitments that he wants to play for Chelsea. You remember when Mauricio Pochettino came, one of the things that he said, that he wants players that are committed to the projects that he wants to build at Chelsea Football Club. He said that he wants players that wants to play at Chelsea Football Club. And in this regard, he wants players that are committed. Moises Caicedo has shown, and the latest update with it is that he has packed his belongings from the Brighton training camp and has left for home, sending a huge signal and message to Roberto Di Zerbi, Tony Bloom, and then every other member of the Brighton and Hove Albion entourage that he wants to leave and pursue the next stage of his career at Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea know this. Chelsea are behind us. Chelsea pushed him and his agents to get this done because they wanted him to show some commitment that he wants Chelsea Football Club. If they will pay 100 million, then it has to be for a player that is committed to Project Chelsea, and that's exactly what they are doing. So Moises Caicedo is going to be a Chelsea player. Turn off your ears, wait for it, because you are going to hear it soon. Moises Caicedo has completed that deal to Chelsea Football Club. But Chelsea have also been in contact with Tyler Adams. So you see, people say, why are you going to get Tyler Adams when you want Moises Caicedo? There's a need for options, actually. Mind you, just this summer, Chelsea lost Mason Mount, N'Golo Kanté, Matthew Kovacic, Denis Zakaria was on loan, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Jorginho in the autumn. So there are lots of players that have left the Chelsea club, especially in midfield, and there's the need for a rebuild of that middle. And now if you look at the senior players in the team, apart from Leslie Ugochukwu, Andre Santos, who looks like he's staying on, Enzo Fernandez, really, who is the other option, especially in the defensive midfield role? Somebody that has experience in the English Premier League, somebody that can play in a versatile role, somebody that's in the USMT. He was a captain of the side. They feel that this player doesn't just give them the on-the-ball ability, the on-the-field ability, but then also gives them something more in terms of mentality, in terms of the strong personality in a group that he wants to build to win. And he's a young player that's captain the USMT, played at the World Cup, and has a strong mentality to win. So Tyler Adams has what it takes to be at Chelsea Football Club. Yes, he's versatile. Another reason why Chelsea are so keen on Tyler Adams is the fact that he has a £20 million relegation clause in his contract at Leeds United. £20 million. Whilst he was signing for Leeds United, the owners of Leeds United was an American that owned Leeds United, and it was in there when he got all of these American boys, Tyler Adams, when he got Weston McKennie on loan from Juventus. All of these people make sure that there were relegation clauses in there. Even when Rafinha was at Leeds United 2 seasons ago, when there was a possibility of they going on relegation, there was a relegation release clause in there for himself, and that is why Tyler Adams is a big possibility for Chelsea. It's just 20 million for a player of his caliber and of his age, and Chelsea believe that he can get a job. Now, yes, there are questions of his of injuries with Tyler Adams, but really Chelsea think there's going to be a very good option for them, and then they need to get him in that regard. Staying on the Chelsea conversation, Neymar may be that big signing, the big marquee signing that Chelsea have wanted. Neymar da Silva, 31-year-old Brazilian that plays for Paris Saint-Germain, may be that player. So, by way of context, Paris Saint-Germain want to move away from the Galacticos way of winning the Champions League. They have come to realize that the names will not get them to the Champions League. Using the elevator will not get them there. They need to build a strong knitted group of players that are hungry enough to win. So they've brought in Manuel Ugarte. They've brought in young Gonzalo Ramos. They've brought in the middle of the park Lucas Hernandez. They've brought at wing, they brought Keely Young. A lot of young, exciting midfielders and players that are supposed to play in tandem to get Paris Saint-Germain that's elusive trophy, especially in Europe, that they've not had in a very long time. So now they are moving away from the names. And Luis Enrique seems not to be so enthused about Neymar. In fact, he is not a key player, per the reports in France from L'Equipe and then RMC, that he is not a key player for Luis Enrique. He is not seeing him as a player that he will go all out for. The 31-year-old, mind you, Neymar is 31-year-old, now has an option to leave Paris Saint-Germain. And it's the reason why teams like Chelsea and Barcelona are hovering around. Now, there's a big possibility for him to go to Barcelona. He had played at Barcelona the heydays of his career. He wanted a different challenge. There were lots of conversation about why Neymar wanted to go to Paris Saint-Germain. Now he went to Paris Saint-Germain. He has not been able to deliver the Champions League. Himself, Mbappe, Neymar at some point have only delivered the French Ligue 1, which is nothing to Paris Saint-Germain, to be very honest with you. Now, the problem, however, is that Paris Saint-Germain wants to move away from that. Luis Ocampos believe in squad building and building a squad amongst players, not just necessarily big name stardom players, but players that are willing to committed to fight for a particular project. And that's what he wants. They believe that at the highest level, talent alone is not enough. You need a mix of talent and then the quest of mental fortitude to win. And that is why they feel that Neymar may be surplus to requirement at Paris Saint-Germain. Again, if you look on the wing, if they are now getting Ousmane Dembele, that means on the left wing, Ousmane Dembele can play there. And then on the right wing, they also have players that can play on the right wing. Now, this is a team that believes that they have enough as base to get it done. On the part of Chelsea, Todd Boehly has always said from get-go that he will need a marquee signing, a big name player to come to Stamford Bridge to sort of give the team, the new team some lift, a big name that's going to be the face of the team. Now, there are a lot of reasons. First of all, Mauricio Pochettino has worked with Neymar before. Pochettino never really had issues with Neymar da Silva. He knows how to manage him. He knows that he's a South American like him. He knows that in conversations with him, he can get him to deliver on the things that he wants him to do. He is Argentine. He is Brazilian. Again, Neymar has not played in the English Premier League. If there are clubs that can take on Neymar's wages, then Chelsea Football Club is one of those clubs that can get his wages. Again, Chelsea is in need of experience in that young team of Chelsea that they are building. They lack experience. In fact, the players in that team that have had World Cup berth, Thiago Silva, Enzo Fernandez, who won it. Reece James never did play in there. Ben Chilwell only had some cameos for the Three Lions. So they need experience, and that experience, Neymar can offer them that experience. Again, tactically, if you're asking how Neymar could fit, Chelsea is in need of an interior, a right-sided interior, somebody who is a half-space monster, somebody who is a 1v1 winger, and Neymar gives them that in terms of that inside left-hand half spaces. Neymar is somebody that can maraud those areas and get that job done for them. And he really, really is that guy that can get that job done for them, especially when they have youngins like Noni Madueke, Mihailo Modric, and the likes on the bench. If they need somebody who's a finished player and has seen it all at the top, the Neymar offers Chelsea all of that. And it's very important that Chelsea may be looking at. So it's concrete. Chelsea are looking at the side of Neymar da Silva that possibly he can become the new Chelsea player, and he's going to be the big name Chelsea star player in that regard. Also, on the side of other stories, first of all, is I have a big problem with Tottenham Hotspur. Seriously, I have a big problem with Tottenham Hotspur. And why do I say this? Why are Tottenham Hotspur still wait, why are they tolerating Daniel Levy? Harry Kane is a top player. He'll give them the goals that Robert Lewandowski used to give them. I've said it here and I'll say it again. Money falling out at Bayern is not just because he's not a good player. It's not just entirely because the Germans are racist, quote and unquote. It was an accumulation of different reasons. First of all, Money was tired, accumulated fatigue. Money had played 50 games all season for about 3 or 4 seasons, from his days at Southampton, Liverpool, and then straight to FC Bayern Munich. So there was accumulated fatigue. Coupled with that, just when he came in, whilst he scored on his debut, and then there was some fanfare around him, he got injured before the World Cup. When Bayern needed him the most. Again, he was bought sort of at the time where Lewandowski had left to replace those goals. Mind you, in the system of Liverpool, Money did benefit a lot from the job of Bobby Firmino. Himself and Salah, there was a striker that could drop deep and they could run off him. In this game, he was supposed to be the guy to do the work for Leroy Sané and Serge Gnabry to run off him, and it was almost impossible. These are players that wants to do that job, and Money cannot get that job done. He failed to get the goals. The injury did come in. It was a big shoes in terms of goals to fill for Robert Lewandowski, and then he did not settle on the fact that at some point in time, Julian Nagelsmann had to change from a 4-4-2 and had to bench him at some point in time. He wasn't excited. There were times where he questioned Julian Nagelsmann in front of his players. And then the final straw that broke the camel's back was when they went to the Etihad, and then the issue that happened with Leroy Sané. So that wasn't with them. So Bayern wants a striker that can give them goals. They want somebody that can give them Robert Lewandowski goals. And it's Harry Kane. But they keep on sending the bets. And then Daniel Levy keeps on turning it down. And this is why I say this. Harry Kane has just a year, in fact, less than a year on his contract. Daniel Levy says he wants 100 million or more. The latest bid was 85 million quid. And as it stands now, Tottenham Hotspur did turn it down. I'm sure that Bayern will go in again with an improved bid. They want Harry Kane. Thomas Tuchel has been vocal and equivocal about it, that he wants Harry Kane. And again, the deal will benefit both sides. Harry Kane gives them the goals. Bayern gives him the trophy. He can come back again to the English Premier League and finish his career, and then break Alan Shearer's record. It's very important, and I think that this deal has to happen. For everybody who's a football fan, they believe that this is a deal that has to happen. Mohamed Kudus is straight up to Brighton and Hove Albion. I have a big problem with Kudus's agency. I think that Kudus could have gotten a better deal, honestly. Man City wants an interior. They're looking at Michael Olise. Chelsea wants an interior. They're looking at Michael Olise and Mohamed Kudus. Now, Brighton have agreed a fee of 38.5 million quid for Mohamed Kudus. And there's a 15% sell-on value, again, from Brighton if they're able to sell Mohamed Kudus. Of course, you can expect that Brighton are going to sell on Mohamed Kudus, and it's going to be for a whooping amount of money. That is fair. But I really think that Mohamed Kudus is made for big things, and Brighton may be that step. Tactically, himself and Ciso, Edingra, Ivan Ferguson, that combination in those half spaces, those interiors is going to be exciting to see. And I can't wait to see how Mohamed Kudus fares. He's a top technical midfielder. If you're not Ghanaian, if you not watch Mohamed Kudus, low center of gravity, progressive carrying, press resistant, wonderful dribbler, technical monster, shoots the ball, passing the ball, everything you need from Kudus, he gives you in the attacking third. And that's exactly what Brighton and Roberto De Zerbi are getting in that regard. So there are a lot on the transfer window, but I really do think that this is the most important. But just before we go on, guys, do well to like, subscribe, and share. Do well to subscribe and share. And I must say that I'm grateful. I'm really grateful for your support here. For me, and every work, on all my work that I do here on the Counter Press, on YouTube, on Twitter, everywhere. I'm very, very grateful. And I think that we can even do more very, 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 very soon. So this is it. This is where we draw the curtain on this edition, this transfer edition of the Counter Press. I've been a lot said. Moises Caicedo is coming to Chelsea. Harry Kane, Tottenham must have to accept that deal. Neymar is looking at Chelsea Football Club. Mohamed Kudus snaps Chelsea. And then again, there's big news in terms of Chelsea, Dusan Vlahovic, Lukaku. Chelsea have a big meeting with Juventus, and they would want to see if they can get that Dusan Vlahovic done. If that happens, it means Armando Broja will be moved on to West Ham United. I would want Broja to stay. Albeit the injury issues that are there, but mind you also, Vlahovic also has some injury issues. But again, we want to see how that pans out. Lukaku has said no again to going to Saudi Arabia. He wants to stay in Europe. He thinks that he's still one of the best in Europe to get a job done. I don't know. We'll wait to see how that goes on. But essentially, Chelsea want to make sure they get things done. I hear that Mauricio Pochettino is a big fan of Leandro Paredes and the likes. But let's see how all of that pans out. Say thank you. Subscribe. Like. Do what to share. Please. Do what to share. My name again is Fiifi-Manfred. It's the channel Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. The show name is The Counter Press. Bye.